Hello and welcome to TL's Garage. Today we are going to be putting in new front turn signals and tail lights, and those are going to be LEDs, so there may be some wiring involved for that, but it shouldn't be too bad. So this may be a long video, it may not be, but who knows. So let's get started. So like I said, we're going to be changing these, and we're also going to be changing the side markers, which I will show that at a different angle. So we're going to start off with turn signals. So to get those off, there's a screw here, and then there are two top ones, right here and right here. It's kind of hard to see. Bezel is off. Other bezel. Okay. So now we need to remove this, and it is by these bolts here, and there should be one on the bottom, which there is. And just like that, it's removed. Old one. That was really loud. You're not really supposed to touch halogen bulbs with your hands. I'm gonna put gloves on just because I may need these again, so I gotta find gloves. A rag will also do. Doesn't know if that's got transmission fluid on it, but it's whatever. And all you do is twist and pull, and it comes right out. We will set that in a spot where it will probably get broken. Next, we will grab our new one. I gotta line it up, and then I gotta twist it in. So it's still not twisted, but I wanna see if it's touching the contact or not. It definitely wasn't, considering it just fell off. Let's see if it even turns on. Yep, it's on. So I guess having it in there loosely will work. It's not gonna go anywhere. Let's see how it does with the turn signal without the flasher in. It would help if I had the key in. So without the flasher, we now know that it does not do anything. So real quickly, what we're gonna do is we are going to put this in, and we're gonna see what it does. We're gonna see if either I short something or if it will be nice. And we all know me, so it probably won't be nice. All right, so we are taking this thing out. So we'll go ahead and rip that out. And of course, I don't know which one's positive and which one's negative. So we're just gonna plug it in and see what happens. We will put... So after looking at a bunch of wiring diagrams and trying to do a whole lot of stuff with this relay, I am realizing that I am not getting this done tonight. But what I'm going to do is I'm still going to put the lights in. I'm just not going to have blinkers. And I also forgot to mention I got new side markers. So as progress currently sits, they come on. As you can see, they're pretty bright. They look really nice compared to stock ones, which is fine. And then when I go to hit the turn signal, as you can see, nothing happens because those are on. Well, it would also help if the key was on. But if I hit the turn signal, they just light up. And that's because the flasher that it needs is not in yet. Now, How does that look at the back? Okay, so the back also will just stay on. And then if I switch it over to the other one, you can hear the relay clicking, and you can see that it's flashing. So that's what I'm just gonna roll with. All right, so to do these side markers, it's really easy. So you take your Torx bit, you come over here, and you loosen the 2 bolts that are holding this on. And they shouldn't be tight, and they should come out relatively easy. And then once you get those 2 bolts out, make sure you don't lose them. Pull the side marker out. You twist, and then you twist to take the connector out of the side marker. Then you pull your bulb out. Make sure that doesn't go somewhere where it'll fall in. Then I grab the LED one, plug this little tiny tab in to where the light went. And then after that, I put it in, turn it, peel that off, flip it the correct way. Since my fingers are curved, it has to go a specific way. Then I start my screw again for both sides. And then with the bit that I've placed, I will hand tighten them all the way in. And then after that, I grab my wrench and just do about 3 slow turns. And it's snug. And now there's a side marker installed. And then when you turn it on, it'll look like this on both sides, which look way better than the stocks. So to finish the install on the front headlight turn signals, I'm going to just have my ratchet going the correct way. And I'm only putting in 2 bolts because the other one does not line up, which is annoying. So only the top 2 on this side line up, and on the passenger side, the top right and the bottom one only lined up. And of course, it's not going to sit straight, but that's what happens when you deal with Amazon quality. Well, that is it for the night. I got the front end all back together. Hopefully we'll figure out the relay tomorrow. So that's tomorrow's plan. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, so after searching some forums, I found out that I needed to ground it, but still have the 2 wires going into the relay. So, see they're on right now, and the truck is running. This is the one thing I didn't do last night. Now if I hit the turn signal, you can hear the relay clicking, and you can see that that light's flashing, and now it's working. So the only thing that I needed to do differently was have the truck running. But they both work now. The only thing I don't know is if they will work with the hazards on. Let's test that. They will. Check that out. So we've got our front lights all good to go. Now all that's left to do are the tail lights. And also to show what I did with the relay, I have the blue wire going to the top and the red wire going to the right. The right is positive, the blue is the negative, and then the ground for the relay is like that for now because it's jank and it's grounded out right there. All right, so the taillights are here. So we're gonna go ahead and install them. You're only going to be seeing me do the passenger side because that's the only thing that the camera will be able to really see from this area. And also because I have to do some stuff to the left one that's not fun. And I'm hoping that I don't have to do the same thing to this one. Because if I do, I'm not going to record it because it'll make a lot of people mad. So let's get started. For some reason, the screws that hold this taillight in are Torx bits. I don't know why. Because they're supposed to be Phillips. But I've got 4 Torx bits that I've got to take off to get this old housing, or to get this old lens off. It's only 74 degrees today, and it does not feel like 74. It feels hot. Alright, there's all 4 removed. Now the lens pops right off. Place that somewhere where it won't get broken. Cool. The assembly is out. Okay, so now this bulb doesn't need to be used anymore. This bulb will be changed by the taillight. This bulb will also be changed by the taillight. So we will grab our new housing and we are going to connect these connectors to this new housing. Pretty straightforward. You just line it up and twist and it goes right in, and then same thing with the bottom one, or the reverse light, if you will. And then this little connector at the end right here, I'm just going to plug it in or connect it, even though it's not going to be used. It's just so it's a water tight connection. All right, so now we slide this back up in here, which actually there is one thing that I am going to do that I forgot. I am changing the old retainers that sit in here because they are rusty and I don't want them to break and then my taillight comes. So if I can find it, I'm going to be using this set. You can get this from any Harbor Freight or probably any parts store. It's not that expensive, but it comes with everything that you would ever need. So I'm simply just going to match the size. We'll go a little bit smaller. Go. Now, before I finalize everything and put the actual taillight and the backward assembly in, I'm going to connect the taillight and I'm going to step on the brake and I'm going to see if the lights do what I want them to do and what I don't want them to do. If they do what I don't want them to do, then I have to change one wire. If they do what I want them to do, then I don't have to change anything. So we will take our LED taillight, we will plug the brake light into the brake light, and we will plug the reverse light into the reverse light. Now I'm going to leave that there for the camera to see, and I'm going to make sure it turns on, which it does. Great. Turn signal, or the hazard. Perfect. So you see how it does the switchback when I hit the brake? I don't want it to do that. So I'm going to disconnect the brake light, and according to something that I read, I'm supposed to jam this yellow wire into the brake light circuit. We'll see what it does with it like that. Alright, so it did not do what I wanted it to do. So now we have to cut into the original harness, which is not going to be fun. I need to look at the wiring diagram and I need to figure out which wire on this connector is the brake light wire. And then after doing that, I will splice it and I will put that yellow wire in as a crimp connector. Then we should be good. My taillights finally came, which is fantastic. As of right now, all I've done is wired in testing purposes and put it into my trailer wiring, which is right here by this little splice connector. This wire right here will be my hot wire, because the way that these work is you are supposed to have a constant 12 volt source. And they say drill a 5 64 hole. I drilled a little bit bigger one because it fit better. So we have our constant 12 volts, which I actually need to find a better spot because that does not, that only gives power when the lights are on, and that's how it does the correct signal. So, and I also put the wrong board in the first time. So we are going to come over here and we are going to take this off. I am being very careful with this, just because this was a good bit of money. And we are going to strip the wire ends, and it says run an 18 gauge wire, which I have. And then the only reason I'm putting these in with a not so good 12 volt source is because I need to run to O'Reilly's to get more wire to run it to the 12 volt source that I think will work, as well as connector ends. So let me go ahead and set this to the pattern that I want right there, which this screwdriver is supplied, and you have little marks right here that tell you where or what each pattern is, or it lets you adjust it, and then the instructions down here tell you what each pattern is. So now that we have that cut and stripped, we can come over to this assembly, which I do already have the wire ran through the truck going down that way, and it comes out right there. So take this wire and we will strip it right there. twist it just to make sure all the copper is touching and everything. That's stripped. We take our crimp connector, shove our crimp connector through, which I did kind of strip a lot off, but okay. Take that, crimp it down, crimp it really good right there. Make sure it doesn't come out, which it does not. Then we take our taillight circuit board wire and we connect that. And then we also crimp down on it. And what I do is I get it kind of set in the crimp, and then I push the wire in more, and then I crimp it down, crimp it good, just to make sure that it doesn't move anywhere. And another good practice will be to make sure you actually hear the actual crimp go down. Perfect. So that is good, like that. So now I just need to take the double-sided tape off, and that's an issue. Alright, well, I need to put this wire through before I do anything else. So we will be cutting this back off again, which is fine. I left myself plenty of wire, at least that runs to the power. Now for the taillight, on the other hand, I must make sure that I do not use a lot. Alright, so we will shove this some gun on true, like, not that. I would love for this to go through nice. Nah, it's not being nice. Alright, back to the drill. Okay. Oh, that was Terminex, dude. No wonder. Maybe that will work better. Alright, that's good. So I am going to cut the area where I kind of bent the shit out of it, just so I don't have any bad connection. Now we'll take our, oh boy. Alright, I'll see you in a little bit. Bye! I am missing a screw, and I need that screw because I don't want it going in tires. So I'll just go grab another one. Shit. From my nice box of screws. Okay. Take one out, pass it around. I don't remember if you were the kind that I used. Where is that other assembly? Actually, one of them are on the ground over yonder. Yonder, wander, and onder. Where the f is it? Because I know it's over here. Give me one of these. Alright, tighten that mug down. Tighten that mug down. And then tighten that one down. Alright. Looks good. Everything seems to be in place. I kind of don't like how much that's moving, but I think it'll be okay. But what can you do? I do want to clean that lens, though. It also came with a reverse bulb and a side marker bulb, all of which are LED. So I just slide the reverse bulb in, give it a twist, make sure it's in, and then I just find which way that socket is, and then push the LED in. And now that whole side should light up. Lights are on, side marker light is on, and tail light is on. Perfect. So now all I gotta do is connect the auxiliary power wire, and we will be good to go. Which I want to see how bright it is with the lens on it in the state that it is now. just out of curiosity if it will even show through this. Oh yeah, and that shit's bright too. It does the sequential pattern when stepping on the brake. I don't want that. We'll figure that out when we get there. So now comes the tricky part. Let's go ahead and wire the right side in and get it taped down and everything. That way all that's left to do is connect the power wires. So I need to pull that out, and I already know that I'm gonna have to drill this out more. So, alright, next we will take the board. We will take its wire, and that one runs through there a lot smoother than the other side, which is kind of an issue, because you're supposed to seal these with silicone, but I'm not doing that. That's what he says to do in the video too, which I will also link in the description. But I'm too cocky to follow directions. Okay, now I'll make sure I put this on as flat and straight as I can make it. I also need to modify the seal a little bit. Make sure that's good, make sure that's pulled through. Perfect. Okay, now this is all I did to the other side was just cut that bit of the tab off, which you will see why in a second, if I am able to get the rest of it off. Okay, so this only sits one way, which you can tell by those tabs right there, and the reason why I was cutting it is so it would clear this plastic piece right here. So now that that's done, I can go ahead and strip this wire like that, twirl wires around, take the other wire that's going to be feeding, strip that one, twirl this one around, grab this crimp, shove the crimp in, put it right there, make sure it's good, crimp down, grab the other wire, make sure that it goes in the crimp. You will feel a little bit of resistance when you push in, and what I mean by that is you'll feel it like try to bind and shit. But crimp that down, perfect. And we will crimp the center just to make sure that it has a good connection. Try to pull wires out, they don't budge. Go ahead and take this wire that I made extremely too long compared to the other side and send it down through the bed. Then you should be able to feel where it comes out and then pull it. And you want to pull it, all of it, no matter how big of a wire you did. In my case, I don't even know how big of a wire or how much wire I left me, but I left myself enough to where I am comfortable for cutting. And just keep running it down. And now it's getting extremely tangled. Alright, we are good. Keep coming down. Keep coming down. Okay, now this will sit like this. We can put the reverse light port back in. We can connect our taillight socket to the taillight assembly. I don't think that's... Okay, that is in all the way. Then we connect, or we push those wires in, and we have this angled to where the tabs go in, which again, they also only go in a certain way. It looks like that way is this way, which it is, and then give it a good twist till it clicks. Take the side marker bulb and do the exact same thing. Put it in and twist. Perfect. And now you can run the rest of this jumper wire that's still hanging around and go ahead and push your assembly back in. Is the screw there? No. Well, yes, but where? Yes, there. Okay, now this one's a little bit of a pain in my ass because this thing right here is my thread, and that has to be able to screw this in with. So, for you it might be simple because yours isn't rusted out like crazy, whereas for me, it is not simple, but I feel like it would be good to see someone struggle rather than not. Alright, it's in. Pull that side marker bulb out. Now, let's see if these work. Driver side, good. Passenger side. These also, I should mention, only go in one way. Like that, if I can. There we are. Passenger side, good. Passenger side, housing. We'll go on first. I don't think there's any cleaning that I can do to those. Now, the only reason that I have the lights on right now is mainly still just to see how they look with this lens on, because we still have to wire in the sequential function, which is why I paid all this money and spent 2 months waiting for the correct taillights that I knew would work to come in. I am also only screwing these down a little bit so I can make sure that this goes on evenly, because I don't want an uneven taillight lens, because then it looks boof. And also, if you can tell by my bumper, I got rear-ended. While I was waiting for these taillights to come in, I was leaving my school's parking lot, and a kid was not paying attention, is my guess, and got too close to me without realizing, and he slammed on his brakes, and the wheels locked up, which I heard because my window was down. And why are you going off? But yeah, so the bumper is bent, all the brackets are bent, and I do have some frame damage, which sucks, but it's going to be repaired, and it'll have a nice new bumper on it, courtesy of Greensboro Auto Body, I think is what their name is. I can't exactly remember it off the top of my head. Which I will also put a link or just the address to their place in the description below. If you're in the North Carolina area or Greensboro area and you want to have body panels done, good, then you can take your vehicle there and see what they say. And they've been in business for God knows how long. Way longer than I've been alive, I'll say that. So I definitely trust what they're doing, and I definitely trust how they do things. Of course, you may not believe me or take my opinion, considering I am a small YouTuber with 72 subscribers who drives a truck from 1986. But take that how you want it. Shit. Taillights are in. Hazard function should work. Well, should. Mainly just making sure that they will still flash. Kind of. So yeah, the reason why it looks like that and is not smooth is because I do not have a good 12-volt source. But as you can see, it's exactly what I wanted. Oh, that's because I had the lights on the whole time. That would do it, wouldn't it? Anyways. So, now you'll see that they are not doing the flashing sequence. And that's because that 12-volt source is not exactly correct. At least as far as I know. For all I know, I could have just put the wrong shit in again. But for now, we're going to wire those in and go to O'Reilly's, get some wire. But real quick, I doubt this is going to flash up here. Oh, it is. How about that? That's pretty much what it's supposed to look like. Which I'm kind of confused as to why it's doing that without the 12-volt source wired in. Nevertheless. And this one still stays good. Yep, that one's good. Okay. So we have working turn signals now, compared to the last one, where we have running lights and we have turn signals now, which is good, because before we did not, and that was not ideal. Now, to quickly wire these in, which makes sure everything is off, it is, what the hell? This is where it gets kind of tricky. And of course, what I need is over, ow, here. So, I have to connect both power wires for both taillights. And the way that I'm going to do that is not how the instructions specify. What I'm going to do is still give me some leeway on this, but cut a good chunk of this off. So all that will go over there. And then same thing for this one. Still give me some good leeway, but still cut a chunk of it off, i.e. that much. So now we are going to strip the ends, which this is also something that I don't really recommend doing. But I mean, if you want to, by all means, go for it. And then we're going to take the wires, and we're going to twist them around, just like so. Perfect. Next, we are going to take a crimp connector. We're going to slide both ends of the wires in, like so. Take our crimps, or your wire cutters, or whatever you're using, and just crimp down on it, right there, which I actually missed the metal part. Right there. Good. And now we will take our power wire. That should be a constant 12 volt, but I don't think it is. And we will wrap this around like so. Also put that in there. Take our crimps, line it up, make sure that's in all the way, and crimp. Crimp down hard. Then I'm going to go over here and crimp it down in the middle, pull on it, and it's not going to come out. Okay, so now you're probably asking yourself, why do I have so much stupid wire left? And that's because that is my leeway. So basically, that is my protection in case I need to change some of this. So all I'm going to do with it is pretty much tuck it up behind the bumper, or so I thought. I'm going to run it up like this and go around my hitch. I also don't really want this wire to chafe on anything, so I'm kind of making sure that it's got a good way to get to the top. And I will put this in the bumper like that. And hopefully it will stay. I don't have any zip ties, I don't think. And it would also kind of be better to zip tie this somewhere, but I don't know if I have it. Jam it under everything. Alright, I don't know about you guys, but that looks pretty decent enough to me for being somewhat slightly temporary. Okay. And that's it, pretty much. Our taillights are done. That's the install. That's the video. That's all I needed to complete the video. I am going to see if I have zip ties, which I don't, so that's fantastic. Make sure nothing's left in the kit. Nothing's left in the kit. That's good. This is a nice box, though, so I'm going to keep the box. Huge thanks to Resto, or LED Glow, Resto Lights, whatever you want to call them, for producing these taillights. Obviously, I'm not sponsored by anybody or anything right now, but hey, might as well give them a shout. If you want LED taillights for your classic, 9 times out of 10, they will probably have it. Go on their website and order for whatever vehicle you may have. Do not buy them off of Amazon. They will cancel your shipping, like they did me. So, some people are probably going to be wondering why I am using 2 different taillights. That is because the one from CJ Pony Parts, the one that you saw me install first, didn't work at all with my specific truck, because my side markers do not flash like they are advertised for the CJ Pony Part taillight housings. The next one you see me use is from LED Glow, and they're called retro lights. And the reason I showed you the ones that didn't work, i.e. CJ Pony Parts, is in case you are like me and you wanted sequential taillights and you weren't sure which ones would work and which ones weren't going to work. So that's just my reason, in case anybody was wondering.